Hello everyone, so today, if you couldn't tell, I am doing my updated manga collection tour. I try to do one of these every year and around this time, so I'm doing it now. Every time I do one of these videos, I get a lot of new people who have never watched any of my videos before, so I like to do just a mini frequently asked questions segment at the beginning of the video, just to answer some of the general questions I get a lot of the time. So if you don't care about that, feel free to go ahead and skip to me actually talking about the manga, but if you have questions, maybe watch this segment first before you type anything in the comments. So I started collecting manga. I got my first manga in 2014, but I wouldn't say I started actively collecting until 2016. The first manga that I got was Attack on Titan. I don't own it anymore. That was actually the first anime I watched as well, besides like Pokemon when I was a kid. So this collection is a result of about 10 years of collecting manga. I always get lots of questions about how I organize my manga, and the answer is I really don't. Just whatever I feel looks good and fits on the shelf. My main priority is shelf space for more manga in the future. So that's how I organize it. It might seem really random to other people. I never lose my manga. I know exactly where they are on the shelf. So it's not a problem, but some people get really bothered when I mention that I don't have any organization strategy. It's just whatever I feel looks good. So I also get questions about how many of these manga I've read. And so I haven't updated my spreadsheets in a few months, so they're kind of not up to date. But I have around 1,650 volumes, somewhere between 1,600 and 1,700. So of those, I've read about 86%, 87%, somewhere around there. So at any point, I have about 200 to 250 volumes that are unread on my shelves, which honestly, I am perfectly fine with. I much prefer to read a completed series all at once, rather than read a volume and then wait 3 months for the next one. That is just not an enjoyable reading experience for me most of the time, so I prefer not to do it. So yes, I will buy an entire series without having read any of the volumes or any of the volumes past volume 1 if I think I'm going to enjoy it. And I do feel like I know my taste pretty well, so I usually enjoy the series that I pick up. I also get questions about, well, what if you didn't enjoy the series that you thought you would enjoy and now you have the entire set? Well, in that case, I will just resell it for around the same price I got it for. I never pay retail price for any manga, so I can usually get back pretty much exactly what I paid for it. So I don't have a problem with buying complete series. Also, I am not going to talk in depth about every single series on my shelves because I don't want to. It just takes too much time to film a video like that. There are obviously some I will talk about more in depth than others, but I am just not someone who wants to film a video for 2 hours long. I just don't want to do it. So I think those are all the questions I get asked most frequently. If you have any other questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started with all of my manga. All right, so right away I'm going to apologize for the shaky camera. These shelves are very tall and I am not, so I have to stand on a step ladder to get up here. But these are all my hardcover volumes. I put them up here because this is where they fit. They will not fit anywhere else, so they go up top. Firstly, I have the deluxe editions of The Girl from the Other Side. This is complete. I do own both versions of this series. I'm still undecided on whether I want to keep the paperbacks, but I've kept them at this point for over a year, so I guess maybe I have made the decision subconsciously, but yeah. Then I have Shuna's Journey by Hayao Miyazaki, Message to Adolf by Osamu Tezuka, My Broken Mariko, and My Bride Story 1 through 14. That is up to date. I'm really interested to see when we get another one of those volumes. Also by Karumori is Scribbles, volumes 1 through 3. These are like sketchbooks, art books, just little illustrations, stuff like that. And then something very different is hashtag DRCL Midnight Children. Next up I have Erased, volumes 1 through 5. That is complete. I'm not sure how much longer this one is going to stay in my collection. I did enjoy it when I read it, but at this point I am just not thinking I'm going to reread it ever, so we'll see. Next up I have my Junji Ito collection. I believe I have all the ones that are in print, published by Viz or Kodansha, so I'm not going to go through all of these. I'm sure you've seen these in a million manga collection videos. But I will mention that yes, I do have 2 copies of Dissolving Classroom. The completionist side of me really destroyed me here. That is my least favorite Junji Ito manga, but I have 2 copies. I also have 2 copies of Junji Ito's Cat Diary. The other one is down below in my Oversized section. This is one of my favorite Junji Ito manga. And here I have Uncanny. I don't have it with these ones yet because I'm currently reading it. I'm not very far in though. I've said I need to finish it for the past like 3 months and I haven't done so, but it will get read at some point. I have read all of these, so that's cool. I have the story collections in rainbow order because in my brain that is the only way for them to go on the shelf, so that's what I do. And then we have Betwixt, which is not a Junji Ito manga, but he did the illustration on the cover, so I put it with the Junji Ito stuff. I did really enjoy the short story collection. Then we have another series that was 100% made with me in mind, even though it came out many years before I was born. This is My Name is Shingo. I do have volume 4 in the other room. I need to read it, so that's why it's not on the shelves yet. Also, I love these spines. I haven't really sat down and looked at the way these are designed, but I really like them the way they look on the shelves. Then other Kazuo Ume's works, I have Cat-Eyed Boy complete, Orochi complete, and Drifting Classroom complete. And then I have the 2 omnibuses of Devilman, which I probably need to reread pretty soon here. All right, next up I have the complete set of Vagabond, if you can call it complete. I have been looking at the deluxe edition. I'm just not sure what they're going to do with volume 37. So if they don't include volume 37 in the last deluxe edition, then I don't think I'm going to get them. Obviously, we have to wait a long time to see what's going to happen with those. But I do really like the spine designs of the Vizbigs. I know people complain about the quality and that, like, apparently they fall apart, which I have seen pictures of, but my copies, I've read through them all. They're all perfectly fine, so I don't really worry about that happening. But I do really, really love Vagabond and anything by Takahiko Inoue. As you can see here, I put Real next to Vagabond because it's by the same author. Absolutely love Real as well. Can't wait for volume 16 later this year. Really fantastic human drama manga. I think even if you don't enjoy sports manga, this one is different enough and just more mature. So I think you might want to check this one out if it sounds even vaguely interesting to you. Next up, we have another one of my absolute favorite series. We have Vinland Saga. I have all 13 of these volumes. Once again, I know there's a deluxe edition. I actually really like these really colorful volumes, so I don't think I'm going to get the deluxe editions of Vinland Saga. I personally am not a big fan of deluxe editions in the first place. They're just too big and difficult to read, and like I said, I'm comfortable with these. I don't feel the need to rebuy them, but I absolutely love Vinland Saga. I have these 2 Japanese volumes. I can't read them, but I am personally offended that Kodansha did not choose either of these covers for the English version, so I had to have them myself. Especially volume 14, I absolutely love this cover and the feeling it expresses and the importance to Thorfinn's character. I just love this cover. And volume 13 almost made me cry. Another one where volume 14 I think is coming out in just a few months, so very much looking forward to that. Next up, I have all 8 volumes of Parasite. This one I read in October for the first time, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I also love the way this looks on the shelf. It definitely stands out when I'm just standing back and looking at all my shelves. This series is one that my eye is drawn to. So congratulations to Kodansha for designing this series like this. Next up, I have all of Full Metal Alchemist, including this like 4-panel comedy spin-off thingy. It's not a spin-off, but like the complete 4-panel comic collection that were in the regular volumes, I believe. And I also have the 20th anniversary book. I read Full Metal Alchemist for the first time last year. Really, really enjoyed it. I had seen both versions of the anime years before, but I'd never read the manga until then, so glad I did so. And here we have the most intimidating series on my TBR. I have not yet read this, but I have all 10 volumes of Barefoot Gen in the hardcovers. Really happy to have this. I got these all at the same time. The publisher was doing a sale on their website and I was able to get all of them. So really happy to have this. I just feel like I have to be in the right frame of mind to finally read it. Next up, not a manga at all. I still own all 22 volumes of Baccano. At this point, I have read 2 volumes. I think last year I had read 1 volume. So slowly, I am reading through this series. So I will get through it. I did enjoy the first 2 volumes quite a bit. So I am excited to read it. I just don't reach for light novels, so it doesn't get read very quickly, but I will read them all eventually. Next up, we have Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe, the spin-off with Rohan from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I just don't own the manga because, one, there are way too many volumes. I don't know if you could tell, but there's no space on my shelves for that. Also, I just prefer the anime anyway, so I would rather own the anime, which I do, than own a manga that I'm probably not going to read ever because I've watched the anime. Then here is a short story collection. They're actually like prose short stories. They are not good at all. The art is by Junji Ito, and the art is good. The stories I don't think are very good, but I really love the way this book looks, so I keep it as like shelf decor. And then we have the first volume of Ashita no Jo, Fighting for Tomorrow. That will be a very expensive series to complete, but I'm going to do it. All right, so now I can finally use the tripod, so hopefully it won't be as shaky. Up here I have all 10 volumes of The Witch and the Beast that are out currently. This series is on hiatus. I'm really sad about it. It's been on hiatus for a couple years now. I love the series. It is dark fantasy, and it's just really fun. I love the characters. The art is amazing, but it's on hiatus, so yeah. Next up, this tiny volume in between The Witch and the Beast and Centaurs is called Pez. Honestly, I always forget that I have that volume. I am only reminded whenever I film one of these videos, and I'm keeping it because eventually I want to read Takami Bachi, which is by the same author, and I think this is in the same world or a spin-off of that series or something like that, and it's so small that I just forget about it. But eventually I will read it. Eventually. I've had it for quite a while. Next up, we have the first 3 volumes of Centaurs. I really enjoyed the first volume of this, and I will have to wait for it to be complete before I finish it. It will be complete at 6 volumes. Mages of the Library, volumes 1 through 7. I have read the first volume of this. I enjoyed it, but the releases are really slow, so I will read that eventually. Next up, Land of the Lustrous, volumes 1 through 12, 11, whatever the most recent one is. I've read all of those. I really enjoy it. I know the next volume is the last one. Can't wait to see how it ends. I feel like it could have ended like several times when I was reading it, but I really love that series. It asks a lot of questions about humanity, even though there are no humans in it. And then some new stuff. I have the first 2 volumes of Verses, first 2 volumes of the Spellbook Library, and the first 2 volumes of A Kingdom of Courts. In the front, I have all 24 volumes of Pandora Hearts, really fantastic series, inspired by Alice in Wonderland. And then I have volumes 1 through 18 of Radiant, which is technically not a manga because it was made in France, but it's a manga in my heart, so it goes on my manga shelves. And this is a fantastic series. I don't see enough people collecting it. If you like fantasy manga, if you like Shonen Jump action manga, give this a go because it is really fun. And moving right along, up here we have Fire Punch volumes 1 through 8, and then Goodbye Eri and Look Back, all by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Then we have The Horizon volumes 1 through 3, which is a manhwa. Completely devastating. If you want to cry, read this. It's also very, very dark, so just be aware of that. But really fantastic, fantastic series. Then behind Denji here, move along Denji, we have King in Limbo, omnibuses 1 through 3. That's complete. Love that series. I know it has very mixed reviews, but I am on the higher end of that spectrum because I love that series. It's just really strange, has to do with dreams, and for some reason, any series that has to do with dreams, I will enjoy it. Dreams or memories or thoughts or whatever is going on in the brain. I like those series. Next up, we have my Clamp manga, which I have not read. I have Rig Veda, volumes 1 through 3, or omnibuses 1 through 3. That's complete. Once again, behind Denji, I have Tokyo Babylon, volumes 1 through 6. That is up to date. There's one more volume of that. I have read the first volume of that. I really enjoyed it. Not so much like the spirit detective thing that was going on, but in the background, there is this discussion about the city, and I don't know how to explain it here, but it was really interesting to me, so I want to read more of it for that reason. And then kind of like a sequel to Tokyo Babylon or something like that is X, and I don't have the first volume because it's really expensive. I'm not going to pay $150 for that. I'm waiting for Viz to reprint it. If they don't reprint it, I will just read it digitally for like $10 instead of paying $150 for a physical copy because I'm not going to do that. So yeah, that series has also never been completed, which is sad, but I still want to read it. Next up in front, we have Sakamoto Days, volumes 1 through 15. This is up to date. I haven't read Sakamoto Days in a while, but what I did read, I really enjoyed. Then more Tatsuki Fujimoto, we have Before Chainsaw Man, and then regular Chainsaw Man, and then Chainsaw Man Buddy Stories, which is light novel short stories, I believe. I haven't read that one yet, but I've read everything else here. And then I have Genkaku Picasso, volumes 1 through 3 complete. That is by the same author as one of the versions of No Longer Human, and I really, really enjoyed that. Very strange as well. Next up, we have the shelf that is most often seen in the background of my videos, and I feel like it gives people a false sense of what my reading tastes are, but this is kind of my slice of life section, kind of. So I have all 15 volumes of Silver Spoon by the same author as Fullmetal Alchemist. Love that series. Really fantastic slice of life. I do have lots of issues with slice of life, the genre, but I love Silver Spoon. Next up, we have Blue Period, volumes 1 through whatever the most recent one is. I can't remember, but I'm a couple volumes behind on that, but I really enjoy it. Shonen Note, volumes 1 through 8, that is complete. And then A Story of Seven Lives, which is a great cat manga that will make you cry. And then in front, we have Yotsuba, volumes 1 through 15. That is up to date. If there is a manga that I think everybody could get something out of, it is Yotsuba. I love Yotsuba. I would die for Yotsuba. Yotsuba is a gift to mankind, and I'm so glad that I read it. Next up, I have Touring After the Apocalypse, volumes 1 through 5 up to date. A Silent Voice, volumes 1 through 7 complete. That is one of the first series that I ever read, and I loved it, and I haven't read it since then, so definitely due for a reread. Then I have very different. I have Yankees, volumes 1 through 6, that's complete, and Akane Banashi, volumes 1 through 10, which is up to date, I think. Then over here, we have my shojo slash josei, a big section of it. I don't own a lot of shojo or josei, not on purpose. It's just a lot of them that are brought over are romance series, and I do not enjoy romance series, so I end up not picking them up. But I do actively look out for ones that I will enjoy, and I have found that Akiko Higashimura is one of the authors that I will automatically buy because her series are so funny, such flawed characters that I absolutely love, and I just really enjoy her series. She can make me laugh, she can make me cry, and that is just so impressive to me that an author can do both of those things. And yeah, so this is all 9 omnibuses of Princess Jellyfish, then all 5 volumes of Blank Canvas, which is a non-fiction manga about her life as an artist, especially her and a teacher that really inspired her. Fantastic series, and I really, really love that. And then I have Tokyo Terroraba Girls, volumes 1 through 9 complete. Another really funny series filled with flawed characters. And then not Akiko Higashimura, we have volumes 1 through 10 of Descending Stories that is complete. This is a josei manga about Rakugo, and you follow one guy through a vast majority of his life as he is studying Rakugo, trying to become a Rakugo performer, and also his friendship with another Rakugo performer. I really enjoy that series. That one is up for a reread pretty soon as well. And then on the front, you can see I have all 43 volumes of Yona of the Dawn that are out so far. Pretty soon, Yona of the Dawn is going to escape its allotted space, and I don't know what I'm going to do at that point, but that's a problem for later me. All right, so down here in the back there, you can see I have all 14 volumes of Delicious in Dungeon. Read the series for the first time last year. Absolutely loved it. I know the series is pretty popular because of the anime at this point, but if you haven't tried it out and you enjoy just fun fantasy stuff, definitely give it a try. I also have the Adventurer's Bible, which I know Yen Press is going to re-release with like extra content. I'm kind of sad about it because I already bought that one, but whatever. Then I have Witch Hat Atelier, volumes 1 through 13, which is up to date, and then Witch Hat Atelier Kitchen, volumes 1 through 5, which is also up to date. Then in front, I have Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, volumes 1 through 21, that is up to date. I think I paused at volumes 15 or 16, somewhere in here, and I will just wait until the series is complete to go back to it. Then I have volumes 1 through 20 of The Promised Neverland. This series is kind of foundational for me. I caught up to the series before the anime was even announced. It was pretty, like, there was a lot of buzz about it in the first arc. So before the first arc ended weekly, I was reading it. And so I read this series weekly from like volume 5, I want to say, all the way through the end. So kind of a roller coaster of emotions with the series, but I do really enjoy it. And like I said, it has a special place on my shelves. Then I have this kind of spin-off thing, and then I have a spin-off of Demon Slayer, and then I have a spin-off of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That's just where those volumes fit. Also, I have these two figures from Delicious in Dungeon and Emma from The Promised Neverland. And over here, this is the beginning of my sports section, or one of my sports manga sections. In the back, we have volumes 1 through 22 of Yowamushi Pedal. You'll see the other volumes in a second. And then in the front, we have maybe my favorite manga ever. It's between this and One Piece, and I still can't figure out which one it is. This is definitely my favorite completed manga ever. Slam Dunk, volumes 1 through 31. I love Slam Dunk. I've read it 3 or 4 times at this point. I want to read it again. It's been over a year, so I want to read it again. And this is just a little picture art print thing that my friend sent me a couple years ago. I love it. I love this panel in the manga, and I just love everything about Slam Dunk, which I've said about 1,000,000 times. So if you've watched any of my videos previously, you probably already know that. And then more sports manga. Obviously, I have the rest of the current volumes of Yowamushi Pedal back here. Then I have, again, volumes 1 through 12, which is a very not unpopular, but I've heard like 2 other people talk about this manga. It's about Owendon, which is like competitive cheerleading, kind of. It's really interesting. It also has kind of a time travel element. Basically, this guy has finished high school, but something happens and he has to relive high school, which sounds like a nightmare. But the first time he was in high school, he really had no friends. He was a complete outcast, so he kind of has the opportunity to fix that through the Owendon Club. And I really enjoy that series. I haven't read it in a long time, but I did really enjoy it. I did find the main character very relatable, and I'm not sure what that says about myself, but we'll stop talking about that. Next up, we have Sayonara Football, volumes 1 through whatever. I have all of them. This is a soccer sports manga, a girls' soccer sports manga. I really enjoyed this one as well. And yeah, not much to say about it, but I don't hear a lot of people talking about that one either. And then I have volumes 1 through 4 of Sketchy. Volume 5 is on its way to me. I haven't received it yet, but I will finish reading that when the last volume comes out, which is volume 6. And then in front, we have Haikyuu. I don't think I have anything to say about Haikyuu. I love Haikyuu. For a while, it was my favorite sports manga ever until I read Slam Dunk, and then Slam Dunk just barely beat it out. But I do love Haikyuu a lot. This is another one where I caught up after season 3 of the anime, and then I read it weekly from there to the end. And reading this section during COVID was traumatizing, to say the least. And I also have 2 Nendroids. I try not to collect Nendroids anymore because I feel like I could develop a problem. So I just have Bokuto and Tsuki, 2 of my favorite characters in the series. And this here is my Shuzo Oshimi. I guess you could call it a shrine. This man is one of my favorite manga creators, but his series are very strange, and he is very strange, and that is why he is one of my favorite manga creators. So I have all of Flowers of Evil, all of Happiness, all of Inside Mari, which was my favorite for a very long time. I still absolutely love Inside Mari, but when I finished Blood on the Tracks, I think that beat it out. Then I have Shino Can't Say Her Name, which is probably my least favorite, or maybe one of these. I have Avant-Garde Yumiko, Sweet Poolside. Then back here, I have Welcome Back Alice, volumes 1 through 7, that's complete. And then Blood on the Tracks, which goes in the front, that's complete. Devil Ecstasy is the only one on here that I haven't yet read. And I'm not sure I'm going to like it. So I've been putting it off, but it is one of his earlier works. So I've heard not great things about it, but I've heard not great things about all of these series, and most of them I enjoyed. So I will read it eventually. And then I just have some other like horror, dark stuff, because that's where it fits. So I have Wonder House of Horrors, which is a shojo horror manga collection. Really enjoyed that. Vampire Hunter D, which is a light novel. I haven't read that yet. Then I have volumes 1 through 2 of Manhole, 1 through 2 of The Strange House. Both really enjoyable series so far. And then I have 100 Ghost Stories That Will Lead to My Own Death, volume 1. Really interesting start to that series as well. And then I have Limit, volumes 1 through 6, which is a shojo like action survival series. Then, as you could see, I have this art print by Shuzo Oshimi. He signed it. He did an event in New York, and I had a friend who very, 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 very nicely sent this to me and had it personalized to me, which is still like mind-blowing to me. I am so grateful for this. It is one of the coolest things I've ever owned, and I will treasure it for the rest of my life. It's just so cool. All right, so down here I have all 31 volumes of Golden Kamuy. Love that series, obviously. I love many of the things on my shelves, so if I'm repeating myself, it's just because I love so many of these series. But next up is Auto, volumes 1 through 6, that is up to date. I honestly think these are some of the ugliest spines in my collection. And another ugliest spine in my collection is Banana Fish, volumes 1 through 19. Love that series. Those covers are ugly. But Auto, just why? Why did you design it that way? I don't like it. I also have my TBR jar there. That's where it lives when it's not inflicting pain and chaos on me. And then I have Asurpa and Shiraishi from Golden Kamuy. I would really like to have the Sugimoto one that matches these two, but I just can't find it. And I have one ordered from Amazon. I've had it pre-ordered forever, and it just will not be sent to me. So eventually I'll find it, but yeah. And then I have this acrylic standee from Delicious in Dungeon, which I got directly from Yen Press's website when they had it on there. I don't know if they still have it, but I really enjoy the series, and I'm glad I have the whole squad in one image. And then in the back here, we have Blue Giant Complete. I'm still holding out my futile hope that Seven Seas will continue with the sequel series, but at this point, it's not looking good for me. And then I have the paperbacks of The Girl from the Other Side. I have Kageki Shoujo. First is The Curtain Rises, and then the regular series, volumes 1 through 12. If you read this, you do have to read The Curtain Rises before this. It's like starting at volume 4 if you start with Kageki Shoujo volume 1. I think it switched magazines after this, and that's why they released it this way, but just so you know, you do have to read The Curtain Rises to read this series, at least in my opinion, if you want to read it the correct way. And then back there we have Gunslinger Girl, Complete, and the Omnibuses. That is another series I read, I want to say in 2018, and I really enjoyed it. It's definitely due for a reread though. And in the frontier, I have Beast Complex, volumes 1 through 3. Can't wait for volume 4 later this year. And then all of Beastars, volumes 1 through 22. I love Beastars. Beastars is just so interesting to me. I love any series that explores humanity through inhuman characters, and Beastars, of course, does that. And I don't really have a problem with the ending. I know people really hate the ending. I don't really understand why there is so much hatred, just vehement hatred for the ending of the manga. I don't think it's that bad, really. But that's all I'll say about that. I know that Sanda, or Sonda, however you want to say that, the series by this author about Santa, did get licensed. Unfortunately, it got licensed by Titan Manga, which I'm very disappointed by because their releases they leave a lot to be desired, let's say that. And I just wish Viz had taste and licensed that, but they don't. So yeah, anyway, I also have Drip Drip, also by Paru Itagaki, and I love that one as well. And then I have my Beastars figures here. I do want more from this series, but I just don't have the room for them, unfortunately. So I will have to live with just these two for now until I have more space, whenever that may be. All right, and then this is where things start getting crowded. So back here we have Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer, Omnibuses 1 through 5, that is complete. I honestly don't think I'm going to keep that series for very much longer. I've read it. I thought it was okay. I just don't think I'm ever going to reread it. I do think this author does some interesting things with time and alternate dimensions and stuff like that, but I just didn't really enjoy the reading experience of Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer the most. I feel like I could have enjoyed it a lot more, but I didn't. Next is Spirit Circle, which I love. I have all 6 volumes of Spirit Circle. Really interesting manga. I know it's hard to find some of the volumes, but if you can get your hands on them, I think that is a really, really great manga. Then I have, also by the same author, World End Solte, volumes 1 through 3. That's up to date. I've only read one volume a couple years ago, so don't have much to say about that. Then I have Demons of the Shadow Realm, volumes 1 through 6. I have volume 7, I think. That's the newest one, right? Volume 7 is probably out in the other room somewhere. And then I have Adam the Beginning, volumes 1 through 10. That is up to date. That's like the prequel of Astro Boy, written by different authors, obviously, but I love robots, so that's why I picked that up. Then I have Night of the Living Cat volumes 1 through 5. That is up to date. If you like cat manga, you must read Night of the Living Cat. It is so funny. That's all I have to say. It's just so funny. I love that series to death. Then I have My Girlfriend's Child volumes 1 through 6. I'm laughing because having these two series next to each other doesn't make any sense, but that's where it fit for now. And so that's up to date, I believe. And then in front we have Neon Genesis Evangelion volumes 1 through 14, Omnibuses 1 through 5, whatever. That is complete. I read that, enjoyed it. Then I have more robots, Robo Sapiens, Tales of Tomorrow, which is a one-shot. Really love that as well, obviously. Then I have Girls Last Tour, volumes 1 through 6, that is complete. And that's another one I need to reread eventually, as well as Planetess by Makoto Yukimura. And those I know are also getting a deluxe edition. I'm not going to pick up the deluxe edition, I don't think. I just don't care enough to pick up deluxe editions, honestly. Then I have Saturn Apartments, volumes 1 through 7. I still have those in plastic. I used to put manga in plastic like years ago. So if you see manga in plastic and you're wondering why they are, it's just, that's how I used to do it. And I just stopped doing that. And I never took the ones out of plastic that I had in there. Saturn Apartments is pretty out of print, so I don't mind keeping that in plastic. But that is a slice of life sci-fi story about a guy who washes windows in space and sees some stuff through the windows. And then I have Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt volumes 1 through 4. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to that series. Then I have AA Prime by Moto Hagio. Really enjoyed that. Kind of hard to find that volume for a reasonable price. Then I have Astro Lost in Space volumes 1 through 5 complete. And Search and Destroy volume 1, which is kind of a series inspired by Osamu Tezuka's Dororo, but like in a sci-fi setting. And then here's my Naoki Urasawa section. So obviously I have all of Monster, all of 20th Century Boys. I have Mujirushi and Sneeze, which I need to just get rid of. I've been keeping them because I'm a completionist, but I really did not like those, so I should just get rid of them. In front, we have my favorite Naoki Urasawa manga because it's about robots. That's Pluto, volumes 1 through 8 complete. And then I have Asadora, volumes 1 through 8 up to date. Then we have one of my favorite horror manga. I think horror is my favorite genre, and this is one of my favorite horror manga. We have PTSD Radio, volumes 1 through 3. I might as well say complete, even though the series is not complete. I don't think it's ever going to be complete, but the reading experience or the storytelling style is done in a way where you don't really need answers. It is so non-linear and kind of nonsensical that you don't really need any answers for what's going on. Then I have Neo Parasite M and F, which are the spin-offs of Parasite. I haven't read those yet. Then we have No Longer Human by Usumaru Furuya. This is my preferred version of No Longer Human between this version, Junji Ito's version, and the original novel. This is the only one I have even vaguely enjoyed. And then I have The Summer Hikaru Died, volumes 1 through 4, up to date. Full Night, volumes 1 through 3, up to date. Gannibal, which is, I just look at that and I'm sad because the Kickstarter for that is going to take a long time to complete, in my opinion, I think. Judging from the updates they've given us, which is not very many. Anyway, then I have Leviathan, volumes 1 through 2, and that is up to date. Down here we have all 23 volumes of Dorohedoro back there. Then all 9 volumes or omnibuses of Alice in Borderland. Witches, which is a manga about witches. I said witches a lot there. Then Mermaid Saga by Rumiko Takahashi. I think that's the only Rumiko Takahashi work I own at this point, but I really enjoyed that, even though there is no ending to that manga at all. And then another mermaid manga is Mermaid Scales in the Town of Sand. In front here we have all 19 volumes of Yu Yu Hakusho and The Heroic Legend of Arson, volumes 1 through 20, which is up to date, I believe. The Deer King, which is a manga based on a light novel. I haven't read that yet. And then I have Skygrazer, which I enjoyed because it's about robots. Then here's the start of my LGBT manga section here. So in the back I have How Do We Relationship, volumes 1 through 12, I want to say. Yep, that is up to date. That is a very messy Yuri manga, but I really enjoy the messy series I've found out. Then I have Until I Meet My Husband, which is a non-fiction manga. Then more non-fiction manga, we have My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness and all its various sequels. And we have Claudine and Boys Run the Riot, which is complete. To Strip the Flesh. I Want to Be a Wall, volumes 1 through 3, which is complete. Love that series. Is Love the Answer? I Think Our Son is Gay, which I still need to read the last volume of this. I don't know why I haven't done that, but I do need to. Speaking of series I love, here's Blue Flag, volumes 1 through 8. I love this series, and I will defend the ending of this manga. And then I have Barbarities, volumes 1 through 4, which is complete. I keep forgetting I have the series. I haven't read any of it yet. But then in front here, we have My Brother's Husband in the little hardcovers. That is the first manga that ever made me cry. So it has a special place in my heart. There are very few manga that have ever made me cry. I think it's only 2 or 3, and that was the first one. Then we have Our Dreams at Dusk, volumes 1 through 4 complete. Classmates, volumes 1, 2, and 3, and then 5 and 6. Yes, I know volume 4 exists. I don't own it on purpose. And I think that series is continuing as well, so we should get another volume of that relatively soon. And then Given, volumes 1 through 9 complete. I Hear the Sunspots, all of the volumes. There's like spin-offs, and I don't know why they decided to do it this way, but whatever. This is probably my favorite BL, I think, but I really enjoyed that. Then we have The Metalhead Next Door, Our Dining Table, The Two Lions, and then Bloom Into You, volumes 1 through 8 complete. Love that series as well. And then in front here, we have Goodbye My Rose Garden, volumes 1 through 3 complete. Really underrated Yuri manga there. And in the back, we have Monotone Blue, New York, New York, which is really dark. Be careful if you're going to read that. That's a really dark series. Restart After Coming Back Home and its sequel, Semantic Error, volume 1, and Kase-san series. Love the series so much. Probably my favorite Yuri manga. If I had to pick one, it's between this one and Bloom Into You, but I think it's this one. Just because this one has more to do with them after their relationship is established, which is what I prefer to read. And then Runaway with Me Girl, volumes 1 through 3. We have Requiem of the Rose King, volumes 1 through 17. That's complete. Really interesting historical manga based on Shakespeare. So it's very dramatic, like Shakespeare, but I really enjoyed it. And then we have The Other World's Books Depend on the Bean Counter, volume 1. That is the manga. I have not read that yet. And over here, we just have some random stuff. So I have my Natsume Ono collection back there. We have Danza, Gente, or Gente, I can't remember how to pronounce that. House of Five Leaves, volumes 1 through 8, complete. Tesoro, La Quinta Chimera, Not Simple, and Ristorante Paradiso. I probably pronounced some of those wrong, but forgive me. Then we have Children of the Sea, volumes 1 through 5, complete. I don't see this in a lot of people's collections, but this is a really interesting manga. It's kind of confusing, but I like the way it explores life and death. And then we have Orb on the Movements of the Earth. That is complete. I have not finished reading that yet. It's on my TBR, so I should read it soon. Then we have Kafka, which is interesting. I just don't understand Kafka, I don't think, but I did like the story based on Metamorphosis, because I like Metamorphosis. Then we have The Walking Cat, which is a zombie manga from the perspective of a cat, and I really enjoyed that series as well. Then we have Shadow's House, volumes 1 through 8, up to date. Red River, I haven't read Red River yet, but I will eventually. I'm not sure I'm going to like it, so I should probably stop collecting it until I read it, but we'll see. Then I have Eden of Witches, volumes 1 and 2, and Silence, volume 1, and Lonely Castle in the Mirror, volume 1. I do have the other volumes from that series just in my other room. You'll see it towards the end of the video. And down here, we have my oversized hardcovers. So first we have the Akira box set. Really love Akira. I need to reread it. I say that about a lot of things. Then we have all of Hellsing. I think people don't enjoy this series because it's really just silly, but I love the imagery in this manga, and of course, I love vampires, so I really enjoy that. Then we have Moto Hagio section. I love Moto Hagio. Her manga are so interesting. So we have A Drunken Dream, The Heart of Thomas, Otherworld Barbara, which is my favorite, and The Poe Clan. Then there is The Strange Tale of Panorama Island. I will pull this one out because I love the cover of this manga. Here we go. I'm pretty sure Last Gasp announced that they are re-releasing this manga. So if you're looking for it and you can't find it, or can't find it for a reasonable price because it's like a lot of money when it's out of print, look out for that because I'm pretty sure they said they're going to be re-releasing it. And then I have H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness, which was really great as well. All right, here is my kind of art book section, kind of more oversized stuff. So we have the Slam Dunk art books. This is actually the second one, but it's huge, so that's the only way it will fit. Here's the first one. Then I have Fullmetal Alchemist, JoJo 6251, Demon Slayer 1, Haikyuu 1, Twisted Visions, which is a Junji Ito one. This one is, I can't remember the title of it, but it is from Land of the Lustrous. This way. Here we go. I think it's called like Paramorph of Love or something like that. This one is a Banana Fish art book. These are the Shuzo Oshimi like one-shots that were put out by Denpa at some con years ago. I always forget I own those, so I haven't actually read them, but I've heard terrible things about them anyway. I just forget I have them. This is the Promised Neverland art book, Blue Period art book, which I obviously haven't even opened yet, as well as the Shuzo Oshimi art book that I obviously haven't opened yet either. Mud and Sludge, which is the Dorohedoro art book. Then I have this. I laugh because I complain about this volume every single time I do one of these videos, but this is the One Piece Pirate Recipes by Sanji in this like children's coloring book size volume. I don't know why they did that. Toilet Pod Hanako-kun, the first Slam Dunk resource, which was released when the movie was released. I love that movie. Then we have one of the One Piece magazines. Oh yeah, this is the Sanji and Zoro one. That's why I have this. I used to own other ones, but I think I still have them somewhere, but I didn't want to put them on the shelf. But this one, I will. And then I have, this is not related to any specific property, but this is the art of Posca Demizu. She is the artist of The Promised Neverland. And so this is just a bunch of her art. Then I have Rohan at the Louvre, which is not an art book. It's just a short story about Rohan at the Louvre when he gets up to his crazy JoJo's Bizarre Adventure antics. Then I have the One Piece Color Walk Compendiums, and I have the Radiant art book. I know that looks like it's upside down, and it really bothers me that it's like this, but it's not. It's not upside down. That's just the way it is. And then I have Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, the box set, and Thermae Rome. And this is like a collection of short stories by Isaki Uta. This was published through a Kickstarter, so I got this. This is the author of Is Love the Answer? And then I have Dementia 21 box set. Love Dementia 21. Heaven's Door by Keiichi Koike. And my collector's edition of Junji Ito's Cat Diary. Love that manga. And then we have the Castlevania Art of the Animated Series book. I love Castlevania, and technically it's not an anime, but I put it here because I feel like it fits. Also, before you ask, I have only watched the series. I haven't actually played any of the video games because I don't really play video games. Next up, over here, we have Oku, volumes 1 through 19, complete. Really intimidating series for people to try to read because the language is so complicated, but I loved this manga. I think Fumi Yoshinaga is one of my favorite manga authors. And then we have her series, What Did You Eat Yesterday? I can't remember how many volumes there are, but I have all of the ones that are out. Then All My Darling Daughters, Garden Dreams. Those are also by Fumi Yoshinaga. Then I have Mothers and Our Torsos Align, just random stuff down here. Then I have another manga about robots. So I have Doll, volumes 1 through 6, that is complete. So that's by Mitsukazu Mihara. She also did Beautiful People, Haunted House, R.I.P., and I See in a Sunflower. I think I've read all those at this point. This is Okinawa, which I have not read. And then I have Something's Wrong with Us, volumes 1 through 19 complete. Don't Call It Mystery. I have all the volumes. Volumes 9 and 10 are in the other room, so you'll see that in a minute. And then down here, it's hard to film. It's dark. So I have all 23 volumes of Hikaru no Go. Really fantastic sports manga, just with a little bit of a different subject matter with Go instead of like an action sports manga. But I love the rivalry in this. I love rivalry in any series, but sports manga do rivalry really well. So, and then I have Cross Game, volumes 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7 and 8. Still missing volumes 2 and 6. I will find them eventually, otherwise I'll just read it on the Shonen Jump app. And then up here we have Medalist, volumes 1 through 6. I have volume 7, I think, in the other room as well. So that's it for the big shelf. Over here I have volumes 1 and 3 of Leolia, which is put out by Glacier Bay. These are like short story collections put out by a bunch of different authors, I believe. So yeah, and then I have my Demon Slayer box set. Not much to say about that. And over here is my little shelf. So this is where I put a lot of my indie manga, a lot of my horror manga, things that I just don't feel fit anywhere else. So here we have Yokai art book by Shigeru Mizuki, and then Kitaro, Nananba, Onward Towards Our Noble Deaths, A History of Japan. So those are my Shigeru Mizuki works. Really, really interesting person, and I love to read his manga. And then I have The Day I Was Forced to Marry God and The Day I Divorced God. This is another nonfiction manga. I think I've seen this in one other person's collection, but yeah. And then I have The Ice Wanderer and Other Stories, and then a bunch of Glacier Bay releases. Some of these I got through Kickstarter, some of them I just bought. I haven't read very many of these, I will admit. I tend to neglect my one-shots for whatever reason, especially if they're not horror manga. And like all of these I just got from their Kickstarter, so like yesterday. So I haven't had the chance to read those yet. But obviously some of them are really short, so I will read them. I have read F, and I enjoyed that one. So then we have my Osamu Tezuka collection, which is outgrowing its allotted space as well. So I have IL up there, which I read recently. Really enjoyed that one. Then we have Bamba, The Book of Human Insects, Mew, and Ode to Kirihito, which are great. The Record of Glass Castle, which I haven't read yet. 100 Tales, haven't read that one. Tomorrow the Birds. All these ones I think I haven't read except for Melody of Iron. But I have Alabaster. I don't know why those are out of order. Brave Dan, Melody of Iron, Under the Air, Clockwork Apple, and The Crater. Then I have Buddha box set. I've read all of those. Really great historical manga. And then we have Dororo, which I've also read. And down here we have all of Tokyo Revengers that is out so far. The final volume will be out soon. And I have not read a single volume of Tokyo Revengers at all. And over here we have some horror manga. Panorama of Hell, which I love. Love that volume. Town of Pigs, also by Hideshi Hino. And then we have manga by Living the Line under their Smudge imprint, which are some really cool historical horror manga. Historical in that they were written pretty long ago. So I have Her Frankenstein, UFO Mushroom Invasion, and Mansect. I think out of all of these, my favorite one is UFO Mushroom Invasion, but I've enjoyed them all so far. Then we have my Taiyo Matsumoto section. So I have number 5, volumes 1 through 4 complete. Sunny, volumes 1 through 6 complete. Tokyo These Days, volumes 1 through 3. I haven't read this one. Well, I've read volume 1, but I haven't completed it yet. And then Go-Go Monster, which I also have not read yet. And Cats of the Louvre and Ping Pong. Really great creator. I love Ping Pong. I love Sunny. Those are my favorites out of his works. Some more random stuff. So we have Satoshi Kon's Opus. I know people complain that this manga is not complete, but I kind of think the ending of this manga fits perfectly. So I really enjoy that. And then The Music of Marie, also by the author of No Longer Human. I was really surprised by how much I enjoyed that one. And then Lychee Light Club, which is dark as hell. Utsubora. I need to reread this. I had mixed feelings when I read it, and I've just kept it on my shelves for years and years, but I really need to reread that one. Then we have Helter Skelter, Pink, Enclosed Called Fat, and River's Edge. Then we have Summertime Rendering, volumes 1 through 6 complete, and Gambling Apocalypse Kaiji, volumes 1 through 5 up to date. Whenever the final volume of that comes out, I will read it. Haven't read any of it so far, though. Down here we have the Kurosaki Corpse Delivery Service, Omnibuses 1 through 5. I've read volumes 1 and 2. I'm not sure I'm going to continue with the series. I'm on the fence, so we'll see. But I thought it was okay so far. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that series yet. Then we have Ajin, volumes 1 through 17 complete. This is another one that I know they're releasing omnibuses for the series, and I know people are getting rid of their singles for the omnibuses. I love the way this cover looks, or these spines look, and I honestly like the little size. I know that's a really unpopular opinion, but I like how little these volumes are. They're kind of cute, and so I don't really feel the need to get the omnibus version. So next I have Die Dark volumes 1 through 7. So that is all the manga in this room. I also have just a couple volumes in my main living room, so I will show you those. Oh, but first, here are the figures that are on top of this little shelf. So I have my Slam Dunk figures, the crew, love all those guys. And then I have my Demon Slayer ones, just random. I like Uzui. Genya is my favorite character, so that's why I have these ones. It's echoey out here, but can't really do anything about it. So these are some volumes I've gotten recently. Forgot to mention them earlier, but I do all my pre-orders through Barnes & Noble, so books just show up So I haven't put these away yet. But this is basically my TBR cart. So I put all the volumes that I want to read soon on this cart, and I read them soon most of the time. So I have Ultra Heaven Volume 1, which I need to try. There's quite a few Volume 1s here that I need to try. The Legends of Kamuy, and Rosen Maiden and Pet Shop of Horrors, and Farewell My Odin. Those are all Volume 1s. I have Omnibus 9 through 10 of Don't Call It Mystery. And then Lonely Castle in the Mirror, Volumes 2 through 5. That is the rest of the series, as I mentioned. And then I have Kino's Journey. So this is Volumes 1 through 3. And then I have the other 5 volumes back there. Down here, we're going to ignore the novels, but I have Hauntress, Eat, and My Name is Shingo, Volume 4. And up here, this is not a manga shelf, it's just my regular books. Well, some of my regular books, but I do have some manga stuff or anime related things here because it's where they would fit. So I have my keychain collection. I don't really know what to say about this. Some of these were given to me, some of them I bought myself, but I love all of them. They're all little dudes. And then I have the Little Baby Haikyuu art book, which I got a long time ago. And then this is the French collector's edition of Volume 12, which came with a puzzle, which you can vaguely see back there. Then I have a bunch of little dudes. So again, we have Denji and Power, the crew from Yu Yu Hakusho. Then we have Genya in his demon mode. And we have Uzui Tengen. And then we have my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure stuff. Will this even turn on? Let's see. Oh, it does. So that's Joseph. I have Joseph and Caesar and Cars. Part 2 is my favorite, so I had to have these. Then we have Jolene. I couldn't figure out which one of these figures I liked better, so I bought them both. And then I have the giant, ridiculously oversized JoJo art book, JoJo A Go-Go. That is literally the only place it would fit. It will not fit in my oversized hardcover section, so that's where it goes. I also have this kid cat. I love this thing. I love this a lot. Lastly, on this little shelf is my really big, really angry Agretsuko figure that I love. I save this for last every single time I do one of these videos. This is the One Piece Shrine. So, like I said earlier in the video, I'm not sure if my favorite manga is One Piece or Slam Dunk, but I love them both, of course. So, I've collected lots of One Piece stuff. I've tried not to buy any more because this shelf is reaching its capacity, but I do love One Piece and I love all the characters, so I like to buy merch of them. But I have all the manga, so you can see all the volumes. I have box sets of the first three box sets. I don't have the 4th box set because when I started collecting the series, the 4th box set wasn't out yet. So I just bought them as they were releasing. So I have all the way through volume 8, that's up to date. Then I have Wanted and One Piece Shokugeki no Sanji. Shokugeki no Sanji, that's how you say that. And then I have a lot of figures. That Nami figure, the 3-sword style Nami figure, is my favorite figure in my collection, I think. I love that. It's based on an illustration by Oda, and I just love that figure. And I love Nami. And these are little figures that I think are just so silly that I had to have them. And then we have Kiku back there, judging them, hardcore. I try not to buy Funko Pops anymore, but I did want the whole squad in Funko format. So I have them. Then we have Zoro here. He's pretty dusty, sorry. And as you can see, he might be trying to become the greatest swordsman in the world, but he is no match for my cats, or at least his swords aren't. So that's what happened there. I have this Buggy Funko Pop. I love Buggy, and I love this Funko Pop. And then I have Bartolomeo. I got this Sanji figure to match my Zoro figure, and I have them in little guy style as well, because I just love these little ones because they're so funny. So then I have more Funko Pops. Sabo will not stay out no matter what I do, so I just leave them like that. Gear 5 Luffy, more Zoro and Sanji figures. And then I have one of the ugliest Funko Pops I've ever seen in my life, but I still kind of like it. And then I have this One Piece Stampede little tiny poster that I got when I went to see One Piece Stampede in theaters. And then I have a little ship that has nothing to do with One Piece. It just fit there. I can see right now it's covered in cat hair, so that's embarrassing. Then we have this kid one and another Zoro one and these little samurai boys here. So yeah, that's the One Piece Shrine. It's kind of messy because there's just a lot of it. And so my cats move things around and I don't notice, and then it gets messy. But yeah, that's everything for this video. If you have any questions, thoughts, complaints about my manga collection, please leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, let me know what manga you would like to collect soon. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!